13 intriguing geography facts you never realized. 1. The northern, western, and easternmost state. Alaska is the northernmost, westernmost, and easternmost state in the U.S. It is located so far west it goes full circle and reaches into the eastern hemisphere. 2. Half the world within 7 countries. The 7 largest countries make up half the world's land: Russia, Canada, USA, China, Australia, Brazil, and Argentina. 3. Highs and lows. The highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest, at about 29,000 feet, or 8,800 meters high, towering the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, many times over. But it is not the highest point in the world. Because the Earth bulges nearer to the equator, Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador is the closest piece of land to outer space and the farthest from the core of the Earth. Using this standard of measurement, Mount Everest isn't even in the top 10. The tallest mountain on either land or in the sea is the island Mauna Kea of Hawaii, at about 32,000 feet from seafloor to sky. The deepest lake is Lake Baikal in Russia, which is also said to have 30% of the world's fresh water. The deepest oceanic point is the Mariana Trench, at about 35,000 feet, or about 10,800 meters below the sea. 4. What is the closest U.S. state to Africa? It isn't Florida. Maine is more eastern and more southern than you think. Paris, Amsterdam, and Brussels are actually higher north. So is the U.S.-Canada border out west. Being further east than Florida, Maine is actually the closest state to Africa. Check on a globe map if you don't believe me. 5. A long trip. It's possible to drive solely by land from Norway to North Korea while only driving through one other country, Russia. 6. Longest mountain chain. The Mid-Ocean Ridge is the longest mountain chain on Earth, and it is made up of underwater volcanoes. The largest mountain in that ridge, that is above the water, is Iceland, the land of ice and fire, which has over 200 volcanoes and 120 glaciers. 7. Surprising locations. Part of California is further north than Newport, Rhode Island. Rome and Chicago are at the same latitude, and so are sunny Madrid, Spain, and snowy Salt Lake City, Utah, and also Tehran, Iran, and Tokyo, Japan. Rio de Janeiro is 25 miles further from the equator than Hong Kong. England is as high north as Alaska. Scotland is even higher north than England. Austria and Mongolia are at the same latitude also. When your friend says he's going out west, you might want to point him towards Reno. Reno, Nevada is further west than Los Angeles. You can also travel in a straight line north, south, east, or west from Stamford, Connecticut and reach the state of New York no matter which direction you choose. 8. The Pacific. The Pacific Ocean is so massive that in some places, if you started on a point in the ocean, went directly through the core of the Earth, and came out on the other side, you would still be in the Pacific Ocean. 9. Space. The planet Uranus was discovered before the continent of Antarctica. We know more about other planets than we do about our own sometimes. 10. Geographic antipodes. Opposite places on a map are called geographic antipodes. If you were to go straight through the Earth and come up on the other side, you would have reached the antipode of the place you started in. Some examples of geographic antipodes are Svalbard, Norway, and McMurdo Sound, Antarctica. Seville, Spain, and Auckland, New Zealand. Timbuktu, Mali, and the island of Fiji. Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Shanghai, China. Bermuda and Perth, Australia. Lima, Peru, and Bangkok, Thailand. Hawaii and Botswana, Africa. Southern Chile and Lake Baikal, Russia. Easter Island and northwestern India. French and southern Antarctic lands, and Montana, USA. These islands are the only piece of land antipodal to the continental US. Machu Picchu and Koh Nyek, Cambodia. And Tahiti and North Sudan. Perhaps there is even a subtle connection between global pairs of opposites. For example, Ireland and New Zealand are almost geographic antipodes, although Spain and New Zealand match even more closely. And the somewhat Irish-flavored Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. Unfortunately, most geographic antipodes land you in water. 11. Dry. The driest place in the world is not the Sahara Desert. One of the most oppressive deserts on Earth is the Atacama Desert in South America. Some parts of this desert have not seen rain in over 500 years, and rain often evaporates in the heat before it hits the ground. But this still isn't the driest place on Earth. That place is in Antarctica and is called Dry Valley. It has not seen rain for an unbelievable 2 million years. This is due to heavy moisture in the winds that are pulled down and away from the area, creating dryness and desert. This area is so alien to the rest of the Earth that it has the closest similarity to the planet Mars. The sad bodies of mummified seals are even found in this desolate wasteland. Without moisture, corpses decompose very slowly and are preserved for a very long time. Who knows what ancient secrets Dry Valley holds, and whether its harsh conditions will either prevent humans from coming and disrupting it further, or cause them to be beckoned by morbid curiosity. 12. Depth. The deepest point on Earth is the Mariana Trench, whose antipode, by the way, is slightly off the Brazilian coast. The Mariana Trench lies hidden in the Pacific Ocean at about 35,000 feet, or 10,800 meters, under the murky depths. This dark, watery tomb is located off the coast of Guam and lies twice as deep as the remains of the sunken Titanic. A layer of ooze littered with the corpses of dead sea animals awaits whichever explorer is brave enough or crazy enough to venture into it. The water pressure is several tons per square inch, the equivalent of several jumbo aircrafts on top of a human, and could crush us to death in a fraction of a second. It is also pitch black with some hot volcanic vents which giant tube worms gather around. While thousands of people have been to the summit of Mount Everest, less than 5 people have been to the bottom of the sea. In fact, 4 times as many people have been to the moon as have been to the bottom of this trench. Among those who have reached the trench, film director James Cameron, who has, unsurprisingly, also been to the Titanic wreck. Fittingly, Cameron was supposedly the first person to take pictures of the Mariana Trench. An ocean of secrets indeed. However, the massive Mariana Trench is but a scratch on the surface of the Earth. If Earth were scaled down to the size of a peach, the crust, where everything from the highest mountain to the deepest trench is contained. The crust would be thinner than the fuzz. 13. Most remote spot in the world. Point Nemo. Officially named the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, this lonely spot in the ocean was nicknamed Point Nemo, after the mad sea captain from Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Nemo in Latin means nobody. It lies far down in the South Pacific. The closest land to Point Nemo are a few islands, each 1,670 miles or 2,688 kilometers away. Ducie Island to the north, an uninhabited atoll in the Pitcairn Islands, Motu Nui to the northeast, a tiny island off of Easter Island, and freezing Maher Island down south off the Antarctic coast. By far, the closest human beings to you would be those circling the Earth in space. Trade routes go nowhere near Point Nemo, so no boat can save you either if you are stuck out there. Being far away from land, little nutrients can reach this area of the ocean, meaning there is also very little sea life. Worse, according to fans of author H.P. Lovecraft, you are very near the location of the dreaded monster Cthulhu. Because of its uninhabited status, spaceships are dispatched over this area and scattered about the seafloor, and below Lonely Nemo is a space shuttle graveyard. If you are a conspiracy theorist, you may ask if they are hiding anything down there. And in case you were wondering, the antipode for Point Nemo is Aktobe, Kazakhstan. Perhaps this is an unusually lonely place in its own right. Or perhaps, unlike Nemo, it is full of life. What would the Aktobe inhabitants say if they knew that directly under them was the most remote place on Earth?